Hey everyone, this is Angela here. Thank you for joining me on my channel, the Failing Successfully channel. Um, I need to talk. Black people, come one, come all. We gotta have a talk, young or old. I want to talk about something. Why is it that we make it as though, as black people, we have to, or other blacks have to prove their blackness to one another? And I'm gonna tell you how this came about. One of my daughters had another student in school tell her that she talks white, which I don't, she talks white, and that she's whitewashed. And you know what is, and that's a sickness in our culture, in our black culture, that because someone speaks maybe different from what you may be used to hearing in your home, in your neighborhood, or if that child just enunciates and articulates in a different way, then he or she, that black child, is trying to be white. We got to stop this, black people. We got to stop this. We should be teaching our children to talk articulate. See, you can't talk white. You can speak French, you can speak Spanish, you can speak English. You cannot speak white. White is not a dialect. Do you understand that? We have a problem as black people where we want to always put a barometer on a person's blackness and try to measure it. We do that with our mixed brothers and sisters, those black people who may have a biracial, or who are a product of a biracial marriage. We do that to them. We put that added pressure on them where they feel like they got to prove their blackness, particularly if they don't, their hue or their shade is not as dark as others. It's like we're constantly trying to make one another prove our blackness. And the thing that really gets me is if a person talks, quote unquote, too black, then you look down on each other. We as a people look down on that person and say, oh, look at that N-word talking all ghetto and ignorant. And then on the opposite end, if the person speaks very articulately, as we all should speak, then they're trying to be white. Now, I have been on this earth for 50 years, and I have worked, lived, studied around diverse groups of people. White, black, Latino, Asian, Native American, all. And in that, I have never heard anyone talk white. I know some very intelligent white people who speak as if they have not graduated from the 5th grade. And then I know some white people who talk very articulately where you can understand. And that goes across the board. So what we have to do, black people, we got to stop making one another prove our blackness. So for my daughter who talks, and it's funny because the conversation I want to have with white people is totally different, because I have had many white people say to me or tell my daughter, the 12-year-old, boy, you speak so articulate. Now, we know what that means. When white people say most of the time that a black person speaks articulate, what they're saying subconsciously, you understand, is you speak well for a black person. You understand? And then when we hear a black articulate person, we say they're trying to be white. Why can't the person just be articulate? You know, I listen, I think about, and I listen to many of the recordings and interviews with Maya Angelou and James Baldwin and so many other amazing black people. And I'm sure in their endeavors, they've heard you talk white. And these people eat, slept, breathed, died for our people. So it hurts me to my core, not because of, a child who's unenlightened to tell my kid that she is whitewashed and talks white because she speaks articulately or doesn't have a certain type of twang in her speaking. What gets me is that this has been going on for the longest. My siblings and I heard this a lot. Now that I'm older, and have been a stay-at-home mom for a while. I mean, now I'm a real estate broker now, but I had been home so long and out of the workforce for so many years till, my speaking, I need to work on how I speak. I have to be more mindful because I gotten lazy tongued. That's what I call it, lazy tongued. And I'm not enunciating and articulating as clearly as I need to. not to be white, but to just be clear so people can understand me. But my siblings, when we were growing up, we heard that. We grew up, we lived in at the time, our neighborhood was majority black when I was born. Before I was born, it was mostly white, but because of white flight and all that, the neighborhood became more and more brown. But my 6 siblings and we attended private schools all our life. You understand? And so many times we would hear from other children, oh, you all think you're better, the neighborhood kids or just other kids who knew our situation, not those who went to school with us. But a lot of times the neighborhood kids would say, oh, you all think you're better because you go to private schools, or you all think you're white, or you talk white. And again, that never bothered me, but my temperament is different. Whereas it may have bothered other kids, it may have bothered some of my other siblings. I don't know. The point is, we need, as a people, we got to stop trying to, how do you measure blackness is my question. We should be proud when we hear another black person, especially a black child, in this day and time, when young black people today are so busy worrying about their pants hanging off their butt, worried about instant gratification, worried about so many other superficial things that really are not going to help move the pulse of the culture. We should be so gung-ho when we hear other black children speaking articulately and intelligently. Because if you hear a kid talking like, I ain't got that, I don't be got that, I don't even be understanding, then the first thing you say, and you look at the parent and you say, what's the problem? Why is this child? It's an embarrassment. We've seen it all the time. When we have seen news anchors walk up to someone, a witness of an incident, and it always seems like the white anchor seems to find the most inarticulate black person to represent the black people. And when they speak, I know many times, and I know you have too, you find yourself sitting and watching the news like, oh my God, they couldn't have found anyone. And then you see those instances where they interview someone who's just well-spoken, and you're like, thank God, a positive representation of black people. You understand? So black people, listen to me. If you yourself look at other blacks who speak clearly and articulately and think they are whitewashed and want to be white, check yourself. If anything, we should be proud of one another because we are able to read books and articulate and speak well. You want to improve your vocabulary? Read a book. Put the freaking phone down and read a doggone book. Hey, here's a thought. Go to the library and read a book. Like literally, physically, fill a book. Keep a book around at all times. You understand? Secondly, if you have children, you need to be raising them to speak articulately. Don't you know, as black people in this world, we have it hard enough just because of the color of our skin? And then if you are a black male or a black female, those bring their own separate prejudices. And then depending on what you look like, if you're heavy set or if you are not lighter in complexion, whatever it is, it can be another dagger against you. So if you're able to articulate and express yourself, don't you think that's a plus for your child to get a job? Do you really think any employer, I don't care if you're driving a trash truck or standing in the Oval Office in the White House, no one wants anyone representing their company or their country who cannot speak clearly and properly and articulately. Raise your children to appreciate that in other blacks, and raise your children to want to elevate and emulate black children who speak well instead of putting them down. See, black people, we got to do better. See, we've been majoring in the minors. We can march all day. You understand? We can wave banners and flags all day. But what are you doing at home with your children? Are you teaching them about their culture and their ancestors? Are you teaching them about the Maya Angelous and the Toni Morrisons? Are you teaching them about James Baldwin and Langston Hughes? Are you teaching them more than Martin Luther King and Harriet Tubman? Not to slight them. Think about black people, those who have made a major dent, a major stride for us people, and then listen to how they talked. Listen to, even in comedians, listen to Dave Chappelle, He's a freaking genius with his comedy. He's my favorite. He's like a modern day prophet where he can break, but he's not ignorant, people. Do you really think that the vast majority of white people, because he is well loved and respected by white people, even though what he has to say may come off very controversial, but because of how he can articulate it and present the joke or present the fact, it leaves you to ponder. Now, if he just got up there talking ignorant and crazy and you can't understand, that doesn't attract a certain audience. So what am I saying to us black people? We got to stop it. We've got to stop raising the bar or putting up measuring sticks on blackness. So you telling me to be black, I have to talk a certain way? Or to be black, I have to wear my hair a certain way? I'm not black enough because I wear a weave. Or I'm real black because I wear my natural hair and don't put no relaxer in it. I mean, just let's stop it. Let's stop it. Let's imagine for a minute if we were back on the plantation. Would you really give a flying fig how I spoke or how my hair looked? Because we were trying to fight for a common goal. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Let's bring that into today. We still fighting, but now we're fighting each other. Oh, she not black enough because she likes to wear a weave or a wig. She too black, or she's pro-black because she wearing locks and her own natural hair. Oh my God. She not black enough because she's wearing acrylic nails or gel nails. Like, really? It's stupid. And you're raising your kids to be stupid if you're not teaching them that there is no barometer, there is no measuring stick on blackness. We got to stop. Let's be 100% honest with you. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If President Barack Obama, did not have the whole package, the education, the mental brilliance, the ability to articulate where anybody can understand, from the highest echelons down to the lowest homeless person living under the bridge, that black man would not have been president of the United States. There are some sect of people, white people, others, who when they hear how you speak, and although it's wrong, but they will in their mind already make a judgment on you whether you are intelligent or not. And that's just real. So if I'm trying to push the pulse of our people forward, wouldn't it behoove me to be as well educated and speak as eloquently as I can? W.E.B. Du Bois talks about this thing called double consciousness. Double consciousness is where it's like we have a dual identity, the identity of how white people see us and who then the identity of as who we are as black people. And so because as black people, this double consciousness, we have had to learn and perfect, many of us perfected this gift of presenting ourselves in a way that where those white people who are not enlightened and who are ignorant can still understand and accept us to the point where we're able to be employed. You understand what I'm saying? Does it make it right? No. I'm not saying talk white. I'm just saying, for God's sake, speak so people can understand you. You're mumbling. I don't care if you're Latin. I don't care if you're Asian. If you're mumbling and we can't understand what you're saying or you're speaking, then no one wants to be bothered with that. I'm just as irritated with an ignorant speaking white person as I am an ignorant speaking black person. It doesn't matter. Now, I mean this, black people. We got to do better. We are so freaking hard on ourselves. We, with one another. She not black enough. He not black enough. He's whitewashed. She's whitewashed. What is the barometer? What are the characteristics of a whitewashed person? Listen. white people, I've heard them say, particularly about the Candice Owens of the world. And again, I'm not here supporting, I'm not saying I support or don't support these people, but I'm just saying the people in life who gain traction or who seem to have some type of upward mobility in life, 9 times out of 10 are able to articulate themselves in a well way. Candice Owens, I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but I tell you one thing, when you listen to her speak, you know what you hear what she's saying, whether if you agree with it or not. The attorney, Ebony K. Williams, is that her name? Yes. She's an attorney, but she's also on the Real Housewives of New York. This woman is freaking brilliant. You clearly understand her. She's a black lady. Candice Owens, black woman. The news anchors on television. Have you ever heard a black news anchor mumbling? Do you want a mumbling news anchor when, let's think about back when 9/11 happened. God forbid. God rest the souls of everyone who lost their life. But what if we had newscasters and black people on the news who couldn't even speak and get it out and tell us what the heck is going on? When there's an emergency, you want somebody who can speak and tell you. Imagine if you call 911 or the operator an emergency, and you have an emergency and the operator, the other person on the other end of the phone, is speaking so ignorant you can't understand how to do, when they're explaining to you how to do the Heimlich maneuver or how to help your baby who's choking. Speaking intelligent doesn't mean you're being white, doggone it. It means you're being the best black you can be. Do you think Maya Angelou and all the other great orators were trying to be white? No. They just wanted to be heard and understood. And what's the best way to do that? To speak clearly. To use words. And I'm not a wordsmith. I have my sister Cynthia is brilliant with words. I have a friend Tracy Michelle Lewis. She is Tracy Michelle Lewis Jiggets, who is brilliant with words. I'm not as brilliant with words. I'm well read. But you know how some people, it just flows from them. And it just moves your spirit, soul, and body to a whole nother hemisphere when they speak. All I'm saying is, for whatever purpose you or your children were created for, be the best black you can be. That's all I'm saying. As my dad said when he used to talk to us and after he lectured us, he said, now I'm through. I'm through. I just wanted to share this with you all. Because black people, we got to do better. Stop raising the bar on what is acceptable blackness. Stop making our black people who are biracial have to prove themselves. I remember when I was in undergrad, it seemed like sometimes some of the students who protested so much against inequality were those who were mixed because they just felt like they had to prove their blackness. It's unfair. It's not right. Stop making black people who are mixed have to choose. If I were black, if I was biracial and I had a white mother and a black father, you're not going to make me choose and say I'm just black. I know what society says. I know society used to say if you have an ounce of black blood, you black. But I would not deny my white mother. I ain't going to deny somebody who carried me in their bellies for 9 months and breastfed me and got stretch marks for me. And how dare you? And I wouldn't let none of you all do it to me either. And you wouldn't make me feel guilty. What I would tell you is that I am proudly biracial. I am a beautiful product of a white mother and a black father. That's what I would say. You know what I really wish? And I love Barack Obama with all my heart and soul. And I'll never say anything bad about that man. I didn't agree with everybody, all his politics like nobody would. Just because the man was black and our first black president doesn't mean that you can't disagree with some person's politics. Heck, I love my husband, but I disagree with some of the stuff he does. But what I wish, the one thing I really wish Barack Obama would have done more. We knew that his father was a Kenyan, African, his mother was white. I wish he would have just said, and I know society in the world and everybody had to make him choose and say just black. He was black. But there's nothing wrong with being biracial. It's nothing saying I identify as black but I'm a beautiful product of a biracial marriage. I'm not a marriage, a biracial relationship. I'm not saying he didn't do that, and he always would address his mother and talk about and speak highly of his mother. But what I'm saying is, for those of you who are biracial, be proud of who you are. Stop making people make you choose. Stop making black people make you choose and deny your white or Asian or Latino mother or white, Asian or Latino or Native American father. However you got the black in you. Don't make black people make you feel bad for having that. Stop it. Stop feeling bad. Stop trying to prove yourself. Free yourself. You are a beautiful product of both. You don't deny your mother or either your father. Don't deny his seed and don't deny your mother's womb. Whichever ones that came together and brought you into this world, you celebrate them both. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of us black people trying to make each other feel bad. Making them choose. If a person has a white parent and a black parent, what is wrong with them saying they're biracial? Why you got to make them say they black? Yes. For years, society said if you had a certain amount of black blood, you were black. But does that make society right? Slavery existed in society. Did it make it right? Come on. You don't call a mixed person no Oreo or a zebra and all that old foolishness. You need to teach your kids better. I'm sick of the ignorance. Listen, we've all made mistakes. I'm not saying that. Children are going to be children. Children are going to make mistakes. My kids ain't perfect. Your kids ain't perfect. None of us are perfect. But doggone it, teach your kids the right way. And at least if they mess up, at least you can't say, I didn't teach you better. Some of y'all weren't even taught right. Let me tell you something. I can speak to anybody from the White House to the poorhouse. And it's not because I'm black. It's because I know how to express myself as a black person, as an intelligent black female. That's all I wanted to say to you all. It was on my mind. It was on my heart. I hope you let this go viral. See, if I was on here talking ignorant and stupid and talking stupid stuff, it would go viral. If I was out here arguing with another woman or saying some real craziness, it would go viral. But people who are dropping some real knowledge, this stuff especially an unknown, very rarely goes viral. I've had a YouTube channel for years. And I can't even count how many. I only have 146 subscribers, and I'd be dropping real helpful stuff. But if I start talking ignorant and stupid, I bet them numbers will fly up. Because as black people, we want to be entertained. Instead of listening, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. But listen to some old interviews of James Baldwin. Listen to some old interviews of Maya Angelou. Listen to some old interviews of other men and women of Shirley Chisholm and other black people. And hear how they speak. Let your children hear it. I'm Ansel Johnson Ayers. Hey, I am also a real estate broker at Allen Tate Realtors. I'm going to get my plug in. If you want to purchase or sell a home in the North Carolina, anywhere in the United States, you contact me, or in other countries. Let's do better, black people. Be blessed. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.